It's no secret that AEW puts on absolutely incredible matches on a very consistent basis. We have the classics we all remember: Hangman Page and Omega vs. the Young Bucks, Omega vs. Danielson, Ospreay vs. Danielson, the Swerve Strickland and Hangman series. But because AEW puts on so many amazing matches so often, a lot of these matches end up just falling to the wayside when discussing AEW's best bouts. And in today's video, I want to talk about some of AEW's bangers you may have forgotten. When discussing some of AEW's greatest storylines ever, you cannot have that conversation without mentioning Toni Storm vs. Mariah. A 1.5 year long saga that concluded in one of the most greatest AEW matches of all time, the Hollywood ending at Revolution 2025. And rightfully so, this match is fondly remembered and widely considered one of AEW's greatest matches period, and for sure AEW's best women's match ever. But what about the very first one-on-one match they ever had at All in London 2024? Because the Hollywood ending is so incredible, their first bout is often forgotten about when talking about the great matches of AEW. In just 15 minutes, these two put on a phenomenal match in the second bout of the night, with an emotional performance from Toni Storm and a star-making one from Mariah, winning the Women's Championship on her home turf in London. I think this match is brutally underrated. These two beat the piss out of each other and was a great sneak peek of what was to come later on down the line. Mariah slapped the teeth out of her own mom's mouth. Toni Storm busted her former friend's head open with a Storm Zero on the steps. Even before that, a sick sunset flip powerbomb to the floor. If you have never seen this match or haven't seen this match since it first happened, I highly recommend you to go watch it. I promise you, you will not regret it. This was a phenomenal match from these two, and like I said, was a great preview of what was to come the following March. One of the many privileges I've had from watching AEW is seeing Konosuke Takeshita rise through the ranks. From debuting in a losing effort against Jay Lethal on Rampage to finally defeating and dethroning Kazuchika Okada in a match of the year contender at AEW Double or Nothing just a few months ago. But what about the match that actually opened people's eyes to Takeshita? I believe that match to be his first ever Dynamite appearance, where he battled Hangman Adam Page on a wildcard edition of Dynamite, May 18th, 2022. In a 12-minute sprint, these two had one of the best television matches of the year and one of AEW's greatest TV matches ever. I briefly touched on this match in the Viewers Takes video a few weeks ago, and the feelings that I had about that match then are still felt right now. Like many people, this was my first introduction to Takeshita, and I was absolutely blown away by what he did in this match with Hangman. I still hold this match to be one of the best matches either two of these guys have ever had in their AEW runs. It's fast, it's hard-hitting, it's engaging, and even though it doesn't age well with CM Punk on commentary, I would love to see these two do battle one-on-one once again. Takeshita has obviously grown to a superstar at this point, and though Hangman was already AEW World Champion when this match took place, he's a completely different character and even better wrestler since then. So I am interested to see what a match between them with stakes and build will look like. And if it's anything like the first in 2022, it will be incredible and probably even better. Remember how I said that it was a privilege to watch Takeshita rise to the ranks of AEW? Well, copy and paste that, but with Kyle Fletcher now. When Mark Davis went out with his first unfortunate injury in 2023, I was a bit concerned for Fletcher. I was really taking a liking to the team, and Fletcher specifically. So when Davis went out, I felt that Fletcher might have just fallen to the wayside and just sit around until his tag team partner returned. But luckily for all his Fletchlights out there, Tony Khan strapped that motherfucking RPG to his back and shot it to the sky. Since early 2024, Fletcher has been one of my favorite wrestlers in the world and consistently has incredible, unbelievable matches. His true breakout year was in 2024 when he aligned with the Don Callis family and then turned heel on Will Ospreay at Wrestle Dream. The two had their first match of the trilogy at Full Gear 2024, where Fletcher put on an all-star performance against Ospreay, beating his former ally. They would meet again in the semifinal of the Continental Classic to open up World's End that year, but in the meantime, Fletcher had one of the best Continental Classic performances to date. And the match that earned him that semifinal spot at World's End was against Daniel Garcia just days before on the AEW Dynamite on 34th Street episode. In the show's main event, Fletcher and Garcia went out and just tore the house down in the last match that the Hammerstein Ballroom received for that year. This is one of the many amazing matches Kyle Fletcher would have ever since breaking down into the singles division, this one being one of the ones I personally remember the most. The sickening thud Daniel Garcia's neck makes when it hits the apron when Fletcher drops him with the brainbuster is just a sound I can never forget. I honestly don't know how the dude wasn't paralyzed after that. I've never heard such a more sickening brainbuster on the apron before then or since then. Garcia will fight his ass off, but in the end, it was an ugly brainbuster on the top turnbuckle that put him away and earned Fletcher those last few points to put him in the semifinal of the Continental Classic. You know how the G1 Climax has those G1 defining matches that you just look at and it's like, oh yeah, that belongs in the G1. This is what the G1 is all about. I believe this match to be that, but for the Continental Classic. It's fast, it's hard hitting, and it's captivating from bell to bell. In my Q&A video, one of the questions that was asked was, what was my worst match of all time? And the answer I gave for that was Jamie Hayter vs. Toni Storm from Double or Nothing 2023. While it's not fair because of the circumstances surrounding that match, I still truly believe that to be probably one of, if not the single worst match I've ever seen. Which sucks to say because I love both Hayter and Storm, with Hayter especially being one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. But before the absolute dud, Hayter was still on a roll, defending her AEW Women's Championship in great matches. This match wasn't a title defense though, it was an eliminator match against Sakura on Rampage. This match rules. It's still one of my favorite women's matches from AEW to this day, and honestly might be in a long list of my favorite AEW matches period. Is it my Hayter bias? Yeah, a little bit, but it's also just a damn good match. You don't have to be biased for either Sakura or Hayter. This is just a great hard-hitting match. I mean, Jamie Hayter and Sakura, so of course they're gonna chop the hell out of each other for as long as the matches. I made a top 10 list for my favorite Rampage matches, and I believe this match is number 3 or 2. It's very high, and for Rampage standards at this time anyway, because Rampage kind of fell off a cliff, this was easily one of the best Rampage matches the show had ever seen. For the Sakura fans out there, this must have been a true treat for you, as you got to see one of your favorite wrestlers have an excellent performance in an excellent match against one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And as a big time Jamie Hayter fan, still now, but even bigger back then because she was actually doing shit, this was a treat for me as well. I believe this match was about 12 minutes, just over 12 minutes, and they packed a whole lot of action in here, a whole lot of chops, mostly for Sakura. I highly recommend rewatching or watching this match for the first time because it is truly excellent, because it is a clinic. If I had to pick one match for you all to go watch, it is this one. Remember how I said Kyle Fletcher had a star-making performance against Ospreay, beating him at Full Gear 2024? Well, just weeks before that, we saw Kyle Fletcher's first match as a heel on the November 2nd edition of AEW Collision, where he and Komander just had a batshit crazy match. My god, this match blew my mind, because this was Fletcher's first match as a heel. I thought to myself, well, it's Komander, you know, he has 10 times the amount of losses he doesn't win. Maybe let's just dispatch it this quickly. Let's just have Fletcher get a dominant win over Komander so he can cement himself as a big top heel. But these two guys said, screw all that, let's just go out there and have one of the best collision matches ever. And that's what I truly believe this match to be. One of the best collision matches on the program. Some may argue that my philosophy of the match going into it is what they should have done from the get-go. That Komander may have gotten too much offense. That was too back and forth. But nah, this is AEW, man. I mean, this is what the best wrestler, right? So whenever you have two incredible wrestlers in there, they're going to have an incredible match. And that's exactly what they gave us. And I thought about this match when thinking about this video because everybody was raving about the match they had on Dynamite a few weeks ago. And while that match was awesome too, and 3 matches they've had, I still think this first one in 2024 was still the best of their trilogy so far. I really think this match killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You're able to get Komander out there and have a great match and have him really wow people with his moves. And he also got to cement Kyle Fletcher as the next big top heel. If you haven't seen this match since it first happened or in a long time, hunt this down on HBO Max and give it a watch. It's not that long. None of these matches are very long. If you actually watch all these matches in a row, it's probably just over an hour of your time, maybe an hour and a half. But it will be an hour and a half of just great, underrated, unfortunately forgotten wrestling. At least to me, I feel like these matches have been forgotten under all the other high-profile AEW bangers. And what about you? Did you forget about these matches? Do you think they're underrated as well? And what are your favorite underrated AEW matches? What do you think are phenomenal AEW matches that may be forgotten? Let me know down in the comments. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching.